the most important items in the game. It gets you from point A to point B a lot quicker than any other form of transportation, which is why I'm gonna invent a farm that generates elytras. But how is that even possible? Well, let me explain. There are only two ways you can get an elytra in Minecraft. The first method is to run around the end outer islands until you find an end city, then find an end ship and collect your elytra. However, there's a problem. On the Strength SMP, the end has a world border, and almost every end city has been looted for their elytra. So that leaves us with the second option, the more fun option. Design a trap specifically made to kill players wearing an elytra. In order to do this, I came up with an incredibly convoluted plan that involves bribery, gaslighting, manipulation, and a false sense of security. By combining all of these tactics with a little bit of redstone engineering, I came up with the perfect trap that was bound to catch anybody by surprise. Alright guys, this is what I came up with. This is the elytra farm. If I jump down, I get launched up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Now I know what you're thinking. How the hell is this going to generate elytras? All this is a simple wind charge launcher for your elytra. You go in the sky, and then you fly. Right? Well, it's a simple wind charge launcher until it isn't. Let's take a look at the redstone to this thing. Now you'll notice a comparator connected to this dispenser, and the comparator is attached to a repeater that's attached to a torch. This comparator counts the amount of wind charges in the dispenser, and once we run out, the comparator turns off, causing this torch to turn on. When this torch turns on, the sticky piston is activated, pushing the piston one block closer to the stone under the pressure plate. Now when a player steps on the pressure plate, look at what happens. You fall into a trap. That's because this pressure plate powers this block, which now powers this piston since it moved. And since all of the dispensers have run out of wind charges, when you hit the pressure plate, the dispensers fire nothing, killing you instantly. Now that you know how it works, let me explain why this is so good. We can abuse the counting mechanism of the comparator to create an illusion of safety. If I put one wind charge in every single dispenser and then use it in front of somebody, what are they afraid of? They just saw it work. So surely if they go in, nothing bad will happen to them, right? Well, that's where they're wrong, because the comparator recognized the fact that the dispensers were empty and automatically set up the trap to kill the next person who steps in. Now that y'all know how it works, it's time for me to get to work. I hopped onto Strength SMP and started building these all over spawn. And there's actually so much more to my plan that I've yet to explain to you guys. So as I litter the map with these wind charge launchers, I may as well take the time to give you guys the full context. Take a look at one of my traps. Notice anything wrong? How about now? There's no trap at all. It's just a wind charge launcher. Well, that's because I'm not going to trap them immediately. I'm going to let them sit on the server for a couple of weeks so players get used to using them on a regular basis. Not only that, I designed the trap to be made out of blocks commonly used by Godus, a friendly player on the server who's never done anything wrong. Since if these things were made by Godus, no way they'd be a trap. And just to be safe, I bribed Godus to tell players that he built these things, if anybody ended up asking. Alright, we have a deal. If anyone asks, you were the one who built these little wind charge launchers. I also had another pawn in this operation, Leek. He was under my control, since about a week ago I stole all of the shulker boxes out of his ender chest, so in order to get it back, he was working for me. So I was gonna have him help me gaslight the server into believing that these things are safe. Okay, you got your elytra, right?
Yeah, I have my elytra.
See this?